You ever wonder if the internet itself, its very structure, is what's holding us back? We're about to dig into a new kind of architecture that wants to do more than just make the web a little better. It's aiming to help us get back something we might not have even known we lost, our digital freedom.
So let's just start with this one question, which sounds simple, but is actually super complex. When you log into an app, who really owns that identity you're using? Well, here's the tough truth. You don't. You're basically just borrowing it from whatever company runs the service.
And that question, it really gets right to the heart of the web's broken promise. The whole point of the internet was supposed to be about empowering people, right? But somewhere down the line, things got flipped around. And our data became the product.
Just look at the difference here. On the right, that was the original dream, a peer-to-peer network where your data and your identity belong to you, period. But on the left, that's where we are now. It's a web built on massive, centralized servers where companies hold all our data, they analyze it, they sell it, and we're essentially just renting our digital selves from them.
Okay, so what's next? A lot of us have heard about Web 3, which was really focused on decentralizing assets, things like crypto. But Web 4 is thinking about an even more fundamental shift. The goal here is to build an internet that's based not just on what you own, but on who you are. It's an internet of identity.
So the magic at the heart of this new web is something called the UIID, or Unique Individual Identity. Honestly, the easiest way to think about it is like a digital passport that is 100% yours. You own it completely. It's portable, you can prove it's you, and no company can ever take it away. That's the real game changer. We're moving from these borrowed accounts to an identity that you truly own.
All right, that all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually build it? Well, that's where this platform called VIVON comes into the picture. Its entire reason for being is to create a truly private internet by doing one huge thing: getting rid of the middleman.
And VIVON does this using a concept called zero-server intermediation. I know, it's a bit of a mouthful, but the idea behind it is incredibly simple. Instead of your data having to go through a company's giant server just to get to your friend, your connection is made directly, from you to them, peer-to-peer. No one in the middle.
And this right here, this is how pretty much every app and service you use today works. Whether you're sending a quick text or making a call, all your data goes through a central server. Security folks have a name for this. They call it a honeypot because it's just this one massive, very juicy target filled with all of our private data.
But the VIVON way? It's a completely different world. That central server, it's just gone. The connection is direct, user to user. No middleman, no honeypot, and no single central point for someone to attack or to spy on.
And this is the number that matters: 0. That's how many company-owned servers are sitting in the middle of your private conversations. Your messages, your call logs, they aren't being stored or routed through some central database. Because in this model, one doesn't even exist in the path between you and the person you're talking to.
So you see, this kind of architecture isn't just a cool tech trick. It completely changes how we approach privacy. We're not talking about digging through menus to find some privacy setting you can toggle on. Here, privacy is the default. It's baked into the very design of the network from the ground up.
Let's break down how different that really is. With the messaging apps we use now, your identity is your phone number, which, let's be honest, is controlled by a phone company. All your data sits on their servers. And even if messages are encrypted, they're still collecting all that metadata, like who you talk to and when. But with VIVON, you use your UUID, which you own. There's no central storage. And that metadata trail, it's pretty much gone.
This whole system of protection is built on 4 key pillars. First, you've got self-sovereign identity, meaning you're in the driver's seat, deciding what you share. Second, metadata is minimized. That who talked to who stuff basically vanishes. Third, tracking you becomes nearly impossible because there's no central hub logging everyone's IP address. And finally, it uses something called E2EE 2.0, which is next-level encryption. It doesn't just hide the message, it hides the whole context of the conversation, which is often the most valuable part.
And all of this circles right back to where we started, this idea of reclaiming our digital freedom. Look, this is about way more than just better privacy. It's about fundamentally flipping the power dynamic of the internet and putting control back where it belongs, with us, the individuals. This is really the future of digital sovereignty.
You know, there's a quote from the source material that just nails this entire idea perfectly. It says, in the VIVON ecosystem, privacy is not a setting, it is a mathematical certainty.
And that is such a bold statement. It's saying that real privacy isn't based on a company's promise, it's guaranteed by the actual math of how this system is built.
So we want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. If you weren't just borrowing your online accounts, if your digital identity was something you actually truly owned and controlled, what kind of new things would that make possible? What would you do with it?